like I said, I'm doing it out of a Chromebook. The stream is coming out of a Chromebook today, so this should be fun.
That's all right.
See how long it lasts.
Yeah, the Westworld subreddit is nuts.
Oh yeah, is it whole another Mr. Robot?
Oh, it's way worse. The one of the producers is J.J. Abrams.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that attention to detail stuff. I mean, they're going overboard with the attention to detail stuff. But one of the things is, you know how the androids or the hosts can't see certain things, like.
Oh right. Like when she was looking at the
was
picture.
Holding the picture. She's like, it's a picture. I don't get it. Well, the running theory right now is that half of the show is filmed from the perspective of the hosts, and so you're also not seeing things when they're being shown to you.
You have an example?
One example is the gun. Remember when she opens the drawer and the gun's not in the drawer? It was in the drawer.
No, I don't think it was.
I
don't think it was. I think she blacked out. I think she blacked out and put it on herself. I think she has the gun. That's my theory.
Well, it ended up in a pile of hay too.
Right.
But that's the thing, is that her code, which hides weapons like that, is actively bumping into her code that wants to be conscious.
Right.
So she is blacking in and out of consciousness like that. The other thing is, like, she drops part of her loop is she drops the can of condensed milk.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the milk is Milkmaid brand, and in one scene it's Milkmaid one word, and in another scene it's Milk Space Maid brand, and that's it. That's the only difference, and it's in the same episode 2 shots later, and it's right after what's his name gives the speech about the reason people come here is for the small things that they don't notice, not the big things that they do. And then immediately the next shot is her dropping the can of milk and it being a different can of milk. Also, the thing with milk, have you noticed that milk is like an obsession?
It is, yeah.
Because when they're created, the process of making the hosts.
Oh yeah, they're dumping them in that milk bath or whatever it is. Looks like milk.
Yeah. So they're obsessed with their own process of creation. Oh, and the really predominant theory that's basically been proven to be true is that the black scientist, Arnold, I think, he is a host.
Yeah, I think that too. Oh, well, either him is or Hannibal Lecter is. I'm not sure, but one of those two is a host.
There's a scene where Hannibal Lecter draws the pyramid of consciousness.
And he can't tell you what's at the top.
No, he does tell you. You just don't see it because you're seeing it from the perspective of Arthur.
Oh,
and he doesn't see it.
That's interesting. You see, I think
that's the kind of thing that's also the picture. He shows him the picture of him and his old partner together. And the big theory is that he is also in the picture as one of the first hosts, but he doesn't see himself in the picture because there's an empty space where there looks like there should be a third person standing.
I gotta go back and look at that. Hey, ready? We're already at almost 11 o'clock. You ready to start the show?
All right, let's do it. Mark the time. 7 minutes into recording.
We're going to start at 7:25.
Good evening, Eric.
Hey, Thomas. How's it going?
It's going all right. How you doing?
I'm doing really well. I'm actually riding a little bit of a high. We had a I was on the LaraChat Live podcast earlier today, and it was just a really good roundtable discussion about hiring people, practices around hiring people. It was just a good conversation.
I thought it was a really people good with Evan.
Replacing people with Evan. Yeah, so coming off a little bit of a nice little podcast high with them. What about yourself? What have you been up to?
Oh my God, I've been busy. As you know, I missed the LaraChat Live today.
I did notice you weren't there.
Yeah, what? I've been swamped.
John, did you notice he didn't show up? John? No, John. Okay.
Nope. No John today.
Bastard.
Do you remember? You remember last week I said I don't really code in PHP anymore. I'm really working within the languages of the libraries I use.
Yeah, the constructs of the frameworks or whatever.
Yeah, yeah I cursed myself.
How's this?
My project almost immediately afterwards was like a one of those puzzles that you get off of Reddit. Can you code yourself out of this corner type things.
Well, there you go. See, you're just talking about how you wanted to more pure PHP, and
yeah, no, instantly regretted that. That was terrible.
Mistakes were made. Is that what you're trying to say?
I can't tell if the mistakes have been made yet. It hasn't been pushed to production, but I'm sure mistakes were made. Yeah, it's a whole render things in a matrix, randomly inserting elements with paginated insertion matching previous pages, and it's just a whole nightmare.
Wow, one of those super things, complex for a CMS.
It is really complex. Inserting advertisements between a matrix of videos. So randomly so, and predictably randomly, which
predictably randomly.
Sounds
like fun.
No ad on the first element, one ad per row. On a scaling display, so it has a mobile version as well, where the item count per row changes, and the whole thing has to be calculated and rendered and then paginated.
And you mentioned earlier you're starting to embrace some JavaScript.
I am. I'm starting to dig JavaScript. But like I told you, I dig my JavaScript. I'm not comfortable enough with it yet that I can look at other people's JavaScript and know what the hell's going on. But my stuff's great.
Yes. I actually deployed Yarn on quite a few sites. I'm starting to dig it. I mean, just from the perspective of how much quicker it builds, it's I don't think we've taken the step. Well, no, I take that back. On one of the projects, we have taken the step to commit the yarn.lock file to the repo. So that's moving forward. But yeah, I like Yarn. It just seems to really start to fall into line with the concepts of everybody else, Composer, and even like what's the Rails one called? I think it's Bundler for Rails. So yeah, I had something interesting happen, and it got me thinking about a couple things. So a couple shows back, we were talking about Hacktoberfest, which is the thing being sponsored by GitHub and DigitalOcean. If you make 4 pull requests to open source projects, you get a free limited T-shirt. One of the suggestions I had was that there has to be READMEs out there that have flaws. So I was suggesting people start cruising the READMEs and submit pull requests to fix things in READMEs. Lo and behold, somebody sent us a pull request in the PHPUgly podcast repo on GitHub to fix our README, our main README. I happily accepted it. Now, again, I don't think you need to accept the pull request, but I did accept the pull request. I even added an open source license to the repo just in case, because we didn't technically have an open source license on the repo, and I wanted to make sure he got credit for it. So I added an open source license to the repo, and it got me thinking about something. So Hacktoberfest is going until the end of the month. You have until the 31st. We typically release our podcasts on, well, it used to be on Tuesday, but lately I've been releasing them Sunday night, Monday morning. So let's say I get this one out Monday morning. That'll give you an entire week. You have 1 week to submit 4 pull requests to get your Hacktoberfest t-shirt. What I'm going to propose to everybody, now that I have an open source license on the repo and it seems to was a good idea. First thing, if you want to go through our repo, go through our show notes. I'm sure the thing is goddamn riddled with errors.
Yeah.
Feel free.
It's written by us, so it's not good.
It's written by us. It's usually about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning when we're doing it. I'm sure that alone will be riddled with errors. Get in there, send some pull requests. I will accept them. Again, not that that's a requirement, but at least you'll have it accepted. If you can't find any errors, go to the main README and put in a pull request that includes a quote from you about how you feel about the show. Ideally, a positive remark. I will definitely merge in positive remarks. But if you make sure, now if you do that, I'm only going to accept the pull requests if you include a Twitter handle or a GitHub handle with your quote of, I listen to these guys, they're idiots, but they're funny. Whatever you might say. I just ask that you attach that to a handle so that it has some legitimacy to it. And I'll keep it in the README, and we will, I might even move it over to the website. I'm working on redoing our website, probably work on that this weekend. Working with one of the guys over at the Laracast Chat channel, who has a CMS out there that I'm looking to migrate PHPUgly to. So yeah, easily, I can guarantee you, if you listen to this podcast, I'm giving you a softball here. You can easily submit 4 pull requests next week just by submitting to our repo. So
don't just submit to our repo. I mean, go through the projects, see what's there and what you can contribute to. We want to encourage people to fully invest themselves in open source as much as they can.
Absolutely. Yeah, and say good things about us in our repo as well. That would be cool. Yeah, to some people it's just a matter of getting over that hump, that nervousness they have of opening up their first pull request, understanding what that workflow looks like and how to do everything. So, yeah,
it can be tough. I know I've submitted some pull requests before and felt really nervous and scared about it. So,
yeah. So that's my little suggestion out there. And Elan Man, who I don't think I know who that is. Like, it's weird to me that there are people that listen to me that I haven't met in person. I may have met this person in person. I don't know them by that handle, but it's kind of cool. Like, he sent in a pull request. I'm like, who's this? I saw it come into my email. I'm like, who's submitting a pull request to the PHPUgly repo? I'm like, I don't know this guy. And then I read the pull request. I'm like, clever, very clever.
Yeah.
And that's what got me thinking about it. So Thomas,
you're a big podcast listener.
Thomas, I got to come clean. I got to come clean with you.
Right. Let's hear it.
I've been keeping a secret from you. I've been keeping a secret from you, from John, from my family. There's something I haven't told people that I just discovered this week. I could tell people.
Well, if it's the secret I'm thinking of, we all already know, and we've come to grips with it.
About a month ago, I got a direct message from Taylor Otwell, and I've been for years lobbying with Taylor Otwell to consider moving the Laracon US conference to San Diego. And I knew last year they pretty much outgrown their venue in Louisville, and I suggested it to him a couple more times. About a month ago, I get a DM from him saying, "Hey, we're trying to do planning for Laracon US 2017, and we're considering San Diego. Can you point me to some venues?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, I can point you to some venues, bro." And so I sent him a couple of places and didn't really hear back from him on it. I kept sending him places, like new ideas when they hit me.
And I remember this. I remember 2 years ago when we were at Laracon when this first came up.
Yeah, I've been lobbying for a while, man. The city of San Diego should be paying me for this. But so anyways, on the latest Laravel podcast, Taylor came out and told everybody, yes, we're looking to schedule the new Laracon US 2017. We're considering San Francisco, San Diego. I want to say Vegas. I know there was a third one in there, and I can't remember if it was Vegas or not, but it seemed like it was Vegas. Oh, come on, Vegas is so cliche. Vegas and San Francisco in our industry is so cliche. You want to move
I've never been.
What? And you wouldn't go if it was here in San Diego? What the hell are you talking about? You have been. You went 2 years ago. You just said
Vegas. I've never been to Vegas.
Oh, I've been to Vegas. You're not missing anything.
No, I know. That's why I've never been.
So you could have gone this week. ZenCon is out there.
Not the place for introverts.
Well, Jesus Christ, what the hell do you want? 1 second you're saying you want him to have it in Vegas, and then you're saying you don't want to go to Vegas. You're a very complex person.
Not the place for hypocrites either. I'm what they call an active hypocrite, where I can do it in a single sentence.
So I suggest everybody go listen to the Laravel podcast. One of the cool things about it, I brought this up in the LaraChat podcast earlier, is one of the really cool things that Taylor said was he was taking in consideration the local user group communities. He looked at the user group community for San Diego and saw we had over 200 members. He did the same thing for San Francisco, said they were right at or just over 200 as well. My thing is, did you take in consideration the PHP group? Did you take in consideration we're so close to LA, Orange County? Hell, Mexico. Mexico. What's up with Mexico? They're right there. I'm sure we get some people up from Baja to go to a Laravel conference here in San Diego.
Absolutely. I work with some Laravel developers that are living in Mexico, living in the border area. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's a great opportunity. I really hope he's still considering it. I know he sent out some tweets saying that things are starting to come together. I assume that means he's found a venue. I haven't heard where that venue is, so I'm still keeping my fingers crossed. It's funny, the guy over at LaraChat, they started a hashtag on Twitter. It's a hashtag San Diego Laracon 2017. So I'm gonna use that now for the next week. Yeah,
I've seen the plugs going out. Twitter, my Twitter has been exploding with San Diego Laracon hashtags. So, I mean, I only have like 4 people, but it's exploding.
So it's nice to get some people on board. Again, anybody listening to this show who happens to be able to attend Laracon, come on out to San Diego. We'll do a PHPUgly podcast from Laracon or something stupid like that, and have everybody on the show, or something kooky on the beach. I don't know, but let's do this. I really think San Diego it's time for San Diego to have a nice, cool conference like this, and I'm hoping Taylor pulls through for me and has it here. So
it really is surprising to me that San Diego doesn't have any PHP conferences?
Yeah, we looked at doing it. The San Diego PHP user group looked at doing it quite a few years back, and it was before all the local user group conferences really started taking off. And it's just a lot of work. I mean, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of money, and yeah, it's just. I still kind of have hopes that we'll pull it off one day, but yeah, I'm surprised too. I mean, it's not only San Diego. There's nothing in LA either. LA is a much bigger city. If you ever look at LA's user group, PHP user group, it's huge. I know the organizer of the LA PHP user group. We actually synced up at Larrycon this year. He's on board with it, and he's actually on board with it being in San Diego because it's a 2-hour drive, hour and a half, 2-hour drive, depending on where in LA you're coming down from. So he's like, yeah, having it in San Diego makes a lot of sense. Let's do it. And so I don't know, maybe one day. There's so many local user group conferences now. It's kind of saturated. We were working with the PHP architect team there for a while. They were thinking about maybe putting together some sort of program to make it easier for local user groups to have conferences, and they would have done it. They would have attached their name to it, so it would have been like PHP San Diego or something like that. I thought that was a fantastic idea. And then they backed out and decided, no, that wasn't something they were interested in doing after all. So, which I understand. I mean, they've got their plates full, but
and you look at your Facebook, and it comes up quickly.
Oh yeah. There was a Laravel conference in Brazil, past week or a couple weeks ago. I forget when exactly it was, but so we talked about. 8th. We talked about also at the beginning of the month. We talked about last month how the videos for Laracon EU were up on YouTube. Again, great series. I got about halfway through it. I got to get back to it and watch the rest of the videos. Laraconf Brazil 2016 has put their Laravel videos up as well. I haven't had an opportunity to look at these. I'm not even sure who did all the speaking. I don't think Taylor was there, but he may have been. So I got to go look through the lineup, but we'll have the links in the show notes for all the videos. It's always so cool to watch what some of the other people are working on and having discussions about. So
yeah, so it is all in Portuguese. So if you're like me and only know how to say the word diarrhea in Portuguese, it's not very helpful.
Are you sure about that? Because I was watching the first one. The first video wasn't in Portuguese.
The first video, escalando su aplicación para milhões de vistas.
I'm starting it now. Yeah, I was.
It looks like escalating.
Damn, it is in Portuguese.
Milhouse.
Holy smokes!
Escalando su raising your application for.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to be able to speak another language to watch this one. I could have sworn I watched the opening of this one and they were speaking English. I'm like, oh, cool. I'll come back and watch this.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I was so drunk that night, apparently. I was understanding foreign languages. I mean, that's when you know you're drunk.
Portuguese is a tough one. It's a tough one to understand. But
doesn't matter when you're drunk, man.
Yeah, with Lagavulin, anything is possible.
Look, fresh bottle. The seal's not even cracked on this one yet.
See, how weird is it that I knew from a previous conversation that I saw that you had a fresh bottle. Before even doing this podcast, I knew that you had a fresh bottle sitting right there on your desk.
If life is going really well for me, I always have a fresh bottle. It's like a baby. It just keeps me nice and comfy. It's so pretty. I love just the look of Lagavulin. The clarity. I'm a big Lagavulin fan. I mean, I love the bottle. I love the label. I love the alcohol. What's inside the bottle.
Really, the important factor is what's inside the bottle.
Yeah. It needs to get inside my belly. That was wild. Hey, I'm sorry.
Did you know that there's a website called GitHub Awards?
.com?
I hadn't seen this before.
I hadn't either. And they have a whole section here of top PHP GitHub developers worldwide. And very interesting list. Laravel is ranked number 1 right now, with Symfony following a close second. Not really a close second. It's about half as many stars as Laravel does. I assume this is only going off stars.
It looks like it.
So this isn't like contributions or forks or downloads from package lists or anything like that. So.
And this is the PHP developers exclusively.
Yeah. It has a drop down. You can pick other languages and platforms, but really, who cares? Laravel number 1, Symfony, the PHP League number 3, Roots, which I guess they do a bunch of WordPress stuff. We have a guy who works with us who will occasionally be on the Roots podcast. Yesoft, and then it starts to get into some more obscure names that I don't recognize. I'm sure that's bad, but there's a BCIT CI. I assume that's continuous integration, but I could be wrong. Friends of PHP. Composer comes in at number 10. Zen Framework 13. Falcon 14. So yeah, we'll have a link to this. Interesting just to see. I think this is all based on stars. They have some other categories up here: top users by city, top user by country. So this is worldwide.
Yeah, no, the IT is CodeIgniter.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. Did not know that.
Well, it's going to take a long time for me to get myself at the top of this list.
You're gonna have to find a lot of people to like you.
I have a lot of ASCII art of naked girls. That might get me a bunch of stars.
Laravel version 5.3.19 is now released as of October 18th. How cool is that?
What is it, the 20th? What version do you think it is today?
I'm gonna say I'll say it's .20. What is it?
5.3.19.
No, it's still 19, huh?
Amazing. That's the first time I've seen a version really stick for more than a couple days.
One of the cool things it looks like in this one is when you do a make model now, you can pass it a flag to create a controller, a resourceful controller. So index, what is it? Index, save, update, delete.
CRUD.
Yeah. So that's kind of cool. I think it's like why hadn't that always been there? That's a fantastic idea.
Yeah, that is nice.
It also talks about the Laravel image dimension validation. Now I knew you could do image validation earlier. I'm not sure if the dimensions piece is new. I mean, it must be new.
I believe MIME type was what it was doing before. But now you can go beyond MIME type and give it min width, max width, ratio, stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, there's some other cool features in here. In or not in validation, receive the ability to pass an array. All right, that's actually pretty useful. That's cool. After validation hook, so that could be kind of neat, actually.
Yeah, and that'll be nice because I have plenty of cases where the validation isn't quite precise enough. So I want to do basic validation, and then I'd like to throw it to a closure that checks for a really specific detail, or does database checks that I can't do quickly within a validator, stuff like that.
Interesting, yeah. So still, it amazes me how many cool features get released, even in these minor incremental updates that come out of Laravel. There always seems to be a couple of really cool gems in there.
Yeah, it's not exactly Semver, but I don't mind.
All right, buddy. You know, I tricked you. We're actually going through the news when it looks like we're having just casual chit chat. So
chit chat. Hey, buddy, did you hear about PHP 7.1 going to RC4?
RC4.
Yeah, I didn't think we were going to see it. I thought we were going to go from 3 to release.
Yeah, I thought that was the plan, actually. Huh.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's up with that, but there's the notice went out. The version is up.
Well, it means they're still working on it. That's a good thing. Trying to make it right.
Do we have doom and gloom music for me yet?
We need it, huh?
Yeah, here, I think.
Hold on. Let me have a little intro here. Dun 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 dun. Tom's doom and gloom. Dun, dun! That's the best I can do for you.
All right, we'll get that professionally wrapped at some point.
For those of you listening to the podcast, you missed my in and out angry guy who actually marched that in for us. So you might want that actually might be a good reason to go to the video, just to see angry guy.
You know, seeing the two of you next to each other, though, you have a similar, sort of a default angry expression.
You know, this is what happens to you after you have a couple girls. You get really angry and you start to shrink. And you know, he's my kindred spirit.
I'm getting there.
All right, doom and gloom, lay it on me. At least it's a PHP related doom and gloom. That you get points for that.
This is pretty bad though. 5,900 online stores were found with skimming software installed on them.
Oh dear.
Yes. So you know credit card skimmers at the gas station.
Right.
This is ongoing for a long time. It's just a piece of plastic that fits over the credit card slot on the gas machine or whatever, and reads the data and saves it or sends it to a malicious entity at some point. Right. Well, there is a similar piece of JavaScript out there. This is JavaScript that keylogs when it sees credit card numbers being entered. When it sees a field populated with credit card-like details, takes that data and sends it off to Russia. And I'm not just saying Russia just because it is Russia. Russia has very different laws when it comes to international money fraud, and it's basically unprosecuted there. So a lot of this data gets sent over to Russia and then bounced around the world. And every time.
So in your title it says 5,900 PHP sites, but this is a JavaScript. It is an exploit, or
so this is an injection. This is JavaScript being injected into stores using older vulnerabilities or undisclosed vulnerabilities. One of the big targets is Magento. So if you're running a Magento store and you're not up to date, then it's possible that there is JavaScript being injected that is harming your customers.
Oh, that is a big one.
And it's totally transparent on the server side, totally transparent on the client side. You have to pull up your code and view the source to see if this JavaScript is in there. And it started off as very readable JavaScript, but the latest versions of the malware looks like UPS tracking code. It looks very innocuous. It's just an evaluated script that's written in hexadecimal, very obfuscated, very secretive, and what it's doing is incredibly malicious. This circumvents HTTPS. It's nasty.
So disappointing. Any big names?
No big names that I saw disclosed in this story. But you can go check out if your site is compromised. There is an automated tool that's running to find stores that are compromised. So we'll go ahead and put that into the list. And also just the general recommendation of check out the blacklisted sites from Google. Make sure that you're not in the Chrome safe browsing blacklist. Check with Visa and MasterCard to see if there is suspicious behavior with your customers.
Yeah.
This liability does lie on you. Even though you're not the one stealing credit cards, if your store is hosting malicious content, you can get in some serious trouble for it. You can lose your credit card acceptance from Visa and MasterCard. So that's my doom and gloom. Everyone's been hacked again.
Your next card isn't doom and gloom either, or as well.
I love my next card.
All right, well, let's hear it. What is it?
What's my favorite thing about PHP 7?
Performance. Yeah,
I love it. So the question is,
you want to hear something funny? Before you say anything, before you go down that road, we have a client recently, and he has a WordPress site, and he was migrating it, and he's like, "Well, should I? We're going to bring up a new server. Can you put the latest and greatest on the new server?" I'm like, "Okay, well, the latest and greatest PHP is PHP 7, which is a huge performance increase over PHP 5.6. Do you want to go to that? Is the WordPress compatible with PHP 7?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure everything's compatible." And to his credit, I did do some looking at the main WordPress code base, and yeah, everything looked compatible with PHP 7. So we go ahead and go that route, and sure enough, there are plugins that weren't compatible that were just flat out breaking things. Once we got those corrected, performance was absolutely horrendous. Horrendous. Now, I narrowed it down to one particular plugin, which was clearly misbehaving, because even the WordPress command line tool, which, hey, did you know there's a WordPress command line tool? It's pretty cool. Even the WordPress command line tool wouldn't work. It kept blowing up because of this one plugin. So I disabled that plugin. The command line tool works fine. Performance got substantially better, but not fantastic. But he's happy. He's happy with it as it stands right now. So what is your story on PHP performance? I did not mean to cut you off.
Well, you know Dailymotion, they do a viral video site. They're a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Well, Dailymotion just moved over to PHP 7 and saw a near double increase in their ability to take hits per second from Apache. Just flat out.
That's good.
Straight over upgrade. It took the team less than a week to migrate their code base, which is a 10-year-old code base, and boom, done. Double performance.
Just even by moving PHP 7.
Yep, and even improved performance over HHVM.
Yeah.
So
very cool.
The question is, are we going to stop getting faster and faster? Are we fast enough?
You can never be fast enough.
No, we're not. ready for you to talk so I can interrupt you. Do you know what a JIT compiler is?
Would that be a just-in-time compiler, Thomas?
is a just-in-time compiler.
No, I have no idea. What is a JIT compiler?
So the way it stands right now, and this is my really basic understanding of it, PHP receives a request, compiles, and then executes. Now, originally, they wanted to have a JIT compiler in PHP 7, but it looks like it's going to get pushed off until PHP 8. Now, Zend is working on it, and the difference here is that it runs the compiled code as it's compiling the rest of the code.
Wow.
So it's compiling the code just in time to execute it. That's where the just in time comes from.
JIT?
JIT.
Is compiling it JITly?
Yes.
JITly? Get it?
Oh, I got it.
What's the benefit of that, though?
So the benefit of that is that you don't have to wait for all of your bootstrapping to kick in before you can start executing code. Now, this on its own isn't the fastest improvement, but we're also looking at asynchronous requests. One of the big things that JavaScript and Go have is the async and await keywords, which PHP does not. Now, Hack does have this implemented, and with a slight change in mentality, you can start really speeding up your programs based off of threading it through async functionality. There is an async interop group, because you know how we love interop groups. So there is a group, the PHP async interop group, github.com/async-interop, and they are working on trying to get a standard moving forward for asynchronous development in PHP. Now, the performance could be pretty significant. That combined with the just-in-time compiler, and we could see some pretty impressive stuff getting done. Stuff that is going to compete with the super fancy new languages like Node that are out there that claim to put PHP to shame.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, that's cool. That's very cool. I know Java has a just-in-time compiler, right?
Yeah, Java is a just-in-time compiler.
Yeah. So that is very cool. Very cool indeed. Thomas, this is weird. We're out of cards.
It's ugly.
All right. So I don't know. I don't know what to do here. Do we wrap it up? Are we done?
Should we talk about Westworld?
No, we can't talk about Westworld.
Why can't we talk about Westworld?
I think we have a specific policy not to talk about TV shows and ruin them for everybody else.
I don't know what to
do. All right.
I could have kept talking endlessly about that topic.
I'm calling it. I'm calling it a day.
Calling it. Note the time, 11:30 p.m. Patient is dead.
That's actually not bad. That's we usually start at 10:30. It's been an hour. That's pretty good for us.
Yeah, but it's our job to entertain. I feel like we're not doing that.
Oh God.
Oh, can I tell you something? I've been developing with some front-end developers this JavaScript stuff I've been working on.
Uh-huh.
And we're using Sass and compiled JavaScript, and man, Gulp sucks. Elixir, maybe not Elixir, but having to compile my JavaScript every time to test something and get it, it's getting to be a real pain in the ass. Even my watchers.
Stop making mistakes with your JavaScript. Just like do it right. You don't have to worry about it.
Well, I'm trying.
What's it take you? Like 30 seconds to compile everything?
Yeah, but I do it like hundreds of times. Like hundreds. And Elixir, something about the way Elixir is written, it dumps out like 100 growl notifications when you run it.
Mm-hmm.
So I just permanently have notifications in the top of my machine that say SAS compiled, SAS compiled, SAS compiled, SAS compiled. It's just always there.
You might need to look at your gulp file, man. That should only be compiling if you make changes. If you got a watcher going, it shouldn't just be going.
But see, my fear is that then I'm taking authority away from the front end guys, and I really don't want to be held responsible for the front end because it's awful.
Yeah.
I mean, our front end is nice, but working on it's terrible.
Hey, Tom, you remember earlier how I said I was riding high from my podcast with the Lair Chat guys?
Did I bring you down?
I want to thank you for bringing me back to earth. I appreciate it. That was good. I'm where I belong now.
Do you have anything to add, John?
John, you're ugly.
Nothing to say.
So ugly. All right, that's it. I'm calling it. It's nighttime. This has been episode 33. Damn, Thomas. This has been episode 33 of a very ugly podcast, the PHPUgly crew. Good night. I'm Eric Van Johnson.
I'm Tom Rideout.
Good night again.
Use a password manager.
Oh yes, use a password manager. Oh boy. All right.
Don't forget. See, we're at 50 minutes now. But that first 10 minutes is just us going,
I know. Us talking about Westworld, which all has to get cut out, and we usually lose. It's funny if you look at what I send the editors and what we get back, we usually lose about 5 to 10 minutes just them cutting out dead air. Do you listen to the podcast at all?
No, I can't.
You got to, man. It actually moves really quickly. Like there's no dead air. It's boom, 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 boom.
Really?
And they cut out a lot of the ums and ahs and all that.
I'll make my wife listen to it with me.
It was better when I edited it because I used to sneak things in there on you. But
yeah, I know.
I don't miss not editing it.
Did you get all your audio?
Did you stop recording?
I did. Did you get your audio?
What do you mean, did I get it?
I heard a system. I posted this on the Slack channel. I wasn't sure if you saw it. I heard like your machine make a system message. And I was like, oh God, I hope his audio didn't just stop recording.
No, I don't even see you posting anything to Slack.
It's on the PHP.
Oh, I heard a system message. Make sure your recording is still running. Oh, geez, that would have sucked. Yeah, no, it was still running. All right, I guess I should kill the stream.
Yeah, don't pick your nose yet.
My kids messaged me during that saying that their car